Alright, what's up everybody? We're back with another edition of Everyday Hoops. Hope you guys are having a good one. Today, we're going to be talking about the Cleveland Cavaliers. They've been one of the hottest teams in the NBA recently. They are playing amazing right now. I'm just going to talk about them, how they've gone through this stretch even without a lot of their good players or their star players. It's just been amazing to see. We're going to talk all about that here in today's video. Thank you guys for the views on the videos and the shorts recently. I really appreciate it. If you do like the content around here, consider subscribing, like, turn notifications, do all stuff like that. I really appreciate it. Really upset a lot. Yeah, Thursday, we're doing a live stream, our first live stream. We're going to be going live. So we're changing it up a little bit. We're going to be going after the trade deadline because I'm busy early in the morning. So at, I don't know exactly what time, maybe around 6 o'clock Eastern, but I'll make an announcement and post about it maybe tomorrow or maybe tonight. But we're going live on Thursday, recapping the NBA trade deadline, talking about all the trades that happened, doing it live. So be there if you're around. Link to my Twitter, TikTok, stuff like that in the description down below. And yeah, don't waste any more of your time. Let's get right into it. So we're going to flash back a little bit. We're going to flash back about a month and a half, almost 2 months, back to December 15th. Back December 15th. At this point, the Cavaliers had just lost back-to-back games against the Boston Celtics in Boston. And then we got news that day that not only were they going to be losing Evan Mobley for a significant amount of time due to a knee injury and having potential surgery on it, they're also going to lose Darius Garland for an extended period of time due to a broken jaw he suffered in that game. So at that point, we lost. The Cavs lost Evan Mobley and Darius Garland at that point, where they were already struggling. At that point, they were 13-12. They're around the play-in, about the 8th, 9th seed in the Eastern Conference, and they already were missing Jared Allen to start the season, who he missed the first couple games due to ankle injury, and then Darius Garland also was out of the lineup for a little bit early in the season. The Cavs have had a lot of injury problems early in the season, and they really didn't get a good stretch of games of having everybody in the lineup healthy, and now at this point, they're going to lose arguably their second and third best player in Darius Garland and Evan Mobley, and it looked like things were going downhill for the Cavaliers, after having an amazing season last year, winning 50 games, and then having a disappointing first-round loss to the New York Knicks. Coming into this season, there were higher expectations. People had them as a top seed in the Eastern Conference. They weren't really hitting that. There were a lot of injury issues, and now add on to the fact that 2 of their top 3 players are going to be out for a while, and with Donovan Mitchell's looming free agency, a lot of people are talking about, well, this might be the time where Darius Garland or Donovan Mitchell regress the trade, and the Cavaliers are going down a pretty bad path, But since that point, they actually have been playing some of the best basketball of the season. From that point on, they played 23 games. In those 23 games, they are 19-4, going on so many big winning streaks, and they've been playing insane basketball as of recently, without Mobley and without Garland. They are both back now, and since both those guys have been back, they are 4-0, and they have just been playing some amazing basketball recently, which is the complete opposite of what we all thought. Everyone thought, including me, I thought, well, this might be the end of the season for the Cavaliers, Who knows how long Garland and Mobley are going to be out. Donovan Mitchell might leave after the season. They might be a play-in team. I don't know what's going to happen, but they've turned it around significantly, playing amazing basketball from both offense and defense. We're going to specifically look at the numbers in the last 15 games. That's where they've really been on fire. So far in the last 15 games they've played, they are 14-1. The best record in that stretch. They're currently on a 6-game winning streak, which is the longest in the NBA right now. And I'm going to read you off some of the numbers from the last 15 games, all the stats they have been dominating in. They're 8th in points per game. Well, we'll start the offensive end, 8th in points per game. They're 6th in field goal percentage. 2nd in three-pointers made, 3rd in three-point attempts, 4th in three-point percentage. So they're lining up. Usually they're a team that doesn't really take a lot of threes, especially with the personnel. They have Mobley, Allen, all that stuff. They actually, in the offseason, added guys like Max Strus and Jordan Yang to kind of help the three-point, kind of help them be a better three-point shooting team. And so far throughout this stretch, they're top 5 in makes, attempts, and percentage. They're 1st in defensive rebounds per game, 2nd in rebounding per game, so they're cleaning up on the glass, 8th in assists. Overall, they have the 4th best offense and the best defense in the NBA, along with the best net rating in the NBA in the last 15 games. They're also 5th in true shooting percentage and 3rd in effective field goal percentage. Their offense, they've been killing it, but it's been the defensive end. Ever since, they got Evan Mobley, they've been one of the better defensive teams in the NBA. Last year, they're one of the best. And this year, they didn't get off to a good start, but ever since Evan Mobley went down, and since they started this hot streak, they have been the best defensive team in the NBA. Specifically in the last 15 games when they're 14-1, they have the best defense in the NBA. Looking at some of their defensive numbers, they're 1st in opponent second chance points, 2nd in opponent points in the paint, 2nd in opponent field goals made, 1st in opponent field goal percentage, third in opponent 3-point percentage, fourth in opponent free throws made, free throw attempts, free throw percentage, first in opponent assists per game, and second in opponent points per game. Top 5 in a lot of important defensive categories like points in the paint, second chance points, percentages, points per game. Like, they have been dominating on both ends of the ball. Man, it's just been insane to see this Cavs team rise from the dead in a way, even without some of their star players. And a lot of credit, of course, goes to JB Bickerstaff, the coach. He's really put this team together. They have an identity of kind of like that dog mentality, the grit and grind kind of system, all the stuff like that. But also their role players. They've all stepped up in their own major way to help this team. Of course, you have to give a lot of credit to the leader, which is Donovan Mitchell. He's currently playing some of the best basketball of his career. On the season, he's averaging 28 points per game. He's averaging career highs in rebounds and assists per game, averaging almost 5.5 rebounds, almost 6.5 assists, with 2 steals, while shooting 47% from the field, 35% from 3, 85% from the free throw line. He's been playing at an absolutely insane level this season. He's been kind of the superhero for them, not just scoring-wise, but also getting everyone else involved, rebounding the ball. Defensively, he's locked in. He's been playing amazing so far this season. Jared Allen as well. Jared Allen has been one of the better bigs in the NBA as of recently. Of course, he missed time to begin the season, but now he's really locked in. He's currently averaging over 15.5 points and 10.5 rebounds with almost 3 assists and a block, while shooting 65% from the field and 75% from the free throw line. He had a streak where he had a double-double in 16 consecutive games. He's been balling on the offensive end and defensive end. Of course, he can do there. So he's been a big stretch. But yeah, the role players, got to give a lot of credit. Karis LeVert has been really good this season, averaging 15 points per game, 3.5 rebounds, 4 assists, a steal. He's shooting 42% from the field. He's scoring off the bench. Also, again, his teammates involved. Max Strus, even though the 3-point shot's been up and down this season, he's been doing really good elsewhere. He's averaging 12.5 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, and a steal. Defensively, he's locked in. He's doing all the other little things like rebounding and stuff like that. And when the shooting does hit, he's been really good. George Niang, shooting 34% from 3, averaging 9 points per game. He's been shooting the 3 ball really well. He had a 30-point game against the Milwaukee Bucks on national TV recently. Isaiah Okoro has been one of the underratedly or low-key one of the big contributors in helping this Cavalier team get to this point. His numbers don't look crazy. He's averaging 9 points, 3 rebounds, and assists. He is shooting 49% from the field and 38% from 3. He's only taking 2.5 a game, but he's knocking them down, which is the important thing. But on the defensive end as well, he's been their primary defender, especially with Garland and Mobley out. He kind of went into that starting lineup and was locking down and playing good D against some of the star players in the league, helping their defense. And our offense, he's been shooting the 3 ball well. He's been attacking the rim. He's playing some of the best basketball of his career right now. And, yeah, I want to highlight him because he's been great. And then you have other guys that people don't really know about that have been balling. Sam Merrill. Before the season, you probably didn't know who Sam Merrill was, and all of a sudden he's come in and he's shooting 44% from 3, 5.5 attempts, being one of the best 3-point shooters in the NBA. Having games where he's hitting 5 or 6 threes off the bench randomly, helping this team win. He was a 60th overall pick a couple years ago out of Utah State, and now he's coming in and he's actually a rotational player now. Dean Wade shooting 40% from 3 and playing really good defense. Tristan Thompson, even though he's suspended right now, he came in and was giving him some nice minutes. Craig Porter Jr., who kind of lost his spot in the rotation, which I don't know why, because when he does play, he's really good. But he came in, an undrafted guy, 2-way player. He's come in and he's filled some holes when the team has needed, looking like a poised veteran out there. So this Cavs team has just been on another level. The role players have really stepped up. Give them a lot of credit. Give JB Bickerstaff a lot of credit. Give Donovan Mitchell and Jared Allen a lot of credit as well. And this Cavs team has been rolling. It's not like they've just been playing some weak teams and been winning. They've been winning some games. They had a good early in the season. They had a good overtime win against the Rockets to start kind of that streak. They beat the Mavericks. They beat the Nets in Paris, France. That was a big game. The big statement win was they beat the Milwaukee Bucks on ESPN by 40 points. They beat the Bucks by 40 on ESPN. Giannis didn't play, but still, there's no way you should be beating a team like that by 40. That's a big win. They beat the Clippers the other day as well. Last Monday, beat the Clippers, who have been the hottest team in the NBA recently. Beat them. Last night they handled the Sacramento Kings team. They beat the Bucks again as well after losing to them. It's their only loss in their 15-game stretch. They beat the Bucks again the day after. They have been coming in and dominating. And it's not even been really close games. Looking at a lot of these games, beating the Bulls by 14. They beat the Wizards by almost 40. Then they beat them again the next game by 24. Beat the Bulls again by almost 20. Beat the Bucks by 40. Beat the Hawks by 20. Beat the Magic by 27. You know, beating the Spurs by 16. They beat the Kings last night by 20. Even the Clippers, they beat them by 10. They beat the Bucks by 12. Like, they have just been really dominating throughout these games. You know, and those losses they lost our game early against the Pelicans. They lost by almost 20. They lost to the Bucks early. They lost to the Raptors by 3. To start 2024. Then they lost to the Bucks. Those are only losses in this 23-game stretch where they're 19-4. And now they have Garland and Mobley back. Mobley had a big game. He had almost 30 against the Spurs. He had 3 3-pointers, which is huge. Darius Garland has had some moments here and there. You can tell he's still trying to kind of get his rhythm back and get his feel back. But when he is playing, he's been solid for them. And this Cavs team has just been on a roll. And now they are the second seed in the Eastern Conference. I made a tweet yesterday on my Twitter. It was like, imagine telling after those 2 Boston games and after Mobley and Garland were announced out for a while, how would you feel if I told you after that, at that point where they were 13-12 and just lost 2 of their top 3 players, that they would jump all the way up to second in the East a month and a half later? It's insane what they have done. They have been one of the best offense and defensive teams in the NBA. All the role players have stepped up. The coaching has been great. The star player, Donovan Mitchell, has been on another planet. Jared Allen's playing really good basketball. They have been absolutely insane this season. And now they're fully healthy again. They're going to have another, barring any bad thing happening, which hopefully not, hopefully. They're going to finally have a stretch where their entire team is healthy for the first time in a while, in a long time, And their games before, they have 5 more games before the All-Star break. And it's not really a hard schedule. They go on a road trip. They play in Washington, in Brooklyn, in Toronto. All 3 teams that aren't in the play-in right now and are winnable games. Then they play the 76ers, but now Joel Embiid isn't there, which is an easier game. And then they play the Chicago Bulls, and then they go into the All-Star break. So they realistically can go into the All-Star break on an 11-game winning streak. Realistically. Now, the NBA is the NBA. Any given night you can lose, So, not saying it's going to happen, but they have a good chance that they can go in the All-Star break on an 11-game win streak and have, 37-16 at the All-Star break? Even at the worst, I feel like they're probably going to go at least maybe 2-3-2. Maybe they lose one of those road trip games between Washington, Brooklyn, and Toronto. Maybe the 76ers come out and have a big game. Who knows? Again, it's the NBA. Anything can happen. Any given night, you can win, you can lose, you can get blown out, you can blow a team out. You never know. But, they have a realistic chance of going to the All-Star break on an amazing hot streak and playing some of the best basketball. And now it's kind of like, how seriously do we take the Cavs as a contending team? With the way they're playing right now, they're fully healthy. Donovan Mitchell's been playing amazing. The role players have been really stepping up. And now, even when it comes down to playoff time, the role players are going to have confidence because they're playing so well. And they kind of turned the team around. So it's like when you get down to big games, George Niang can come in and be like, yeah, I can hit 3 or 4 threes. Karis LeVert come off the bench and be like, yeah, I can get 15 and 20 points. Sam Merrill could come in and be like, yeah, I can hit 4 or 5 threes. Dean Wade can come in and play good defense and hit a couple of shots. Isaiah Coro has confidence. This full team has confidence right now because they were the ones that turned it around. And now add in, you have Darius Garland and Evan Mobley back, which helps you on the offensive end and the defensive end, especially with Evan Mobley. It's like, this Cavs team is going to get really dangerous, especially now with the Milwaukee Bucks kind of going through their stuff, trying to integrate a new coach with Doc Rivers in, and they're not looking amazing so far. Joel Embiid, I made a video about him yesterday. We don't know if Joel Embiid's going to come back at all this season. So that's another team that, could potentially be out of the picture. The Knicks been playing ball amazing recently, And then after that, it's kind of like the Pacers, Magic, and Heat. The Heat are going to be a tough team, obviously, in the playoffs because that's who they are. The Pacers have a tough offense. The Magic are a gritty team. But the Cavaliers, realistically, maybe could be the second best team in the East. Who knows? Of course, you still have to give a lot of credit to Milwaukee. Even though they're not looking the greatest right now, they still have Giannis and Dame, and I keep saying it. As long as you have Giannis and Dame, you're gonna have a chance to win any given night. The Knicks obviously have been playing some of the best basketball. They've been one of the hottest teams in the league recently as well. So you have to take that into factor. And then if Joel Embiid comes back, the 76ers are still a tough team. But the Cavaliers have just been on another level. They've been on another level on both ends. It's not like they just have a hot streak from 3, or it's just like they've been locking teams up. They've been doing both. They've been offensively killing it, hitting threes. Donovan Mitchell has been taking over. But defensively, they've been the best team in the NBA. Defensively. They are locking teams down. Even though they might have the craziest personnel, you would think that they're a top defensive team, but they're just everyone's bought in right now, and everyone's playing their part, and it's amazing to see. And it's just gonna be really interesting to see how this Cavs team keeps it going. Now, if they have a healthy stretch now with Garland and Mobley not missing games, and Allen and Mitchell stay healthy, and all this stuff, they're finally gonna have a full stretch of games where they're actually all playing together, which is huge. And it's gonna be interesting to see how far they can get up in the Eastern standings, if they can stay as the top seed in the Eastern Conference, which I don't see why they can't. And just see when it comes to playoff time how dangerous this team really could be. But yeah, that's going to be it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed. Once again, if you enjoyed the content around here, consider subscribing, like, turn notifications, also like that. I really appreciate it. Really helps out a lot. And yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow.